Hello, everybody. I am here with singer Angela Luna. Nice to have you on the show.
Thank you, Jon Francois.
For those not familiar with your work, how would you define your musical style?
Ooh, always the toughest question in the room. I would say it's soulful rock and groove.
Have you come across people who find that either
A ridiculous statement?
yeah, kind of a
Absolutely.
ridiculous statement?
Yes.
Yes.
It's always so hard to categorize yourself when you're a person who's inspired by a lot of things and you actually perform styles. Like I'm in Clockwise, which is hip hop, but I call it hip hope because I feel like his lyricism and the soulfulness of the music is on a different level than like the hip hop on the radio right now. And then what I'm doing is not necessarily acoustic folk, but it's acoustic hope too, but with more of like a groove and R&B sensibility. So it's really hard to pigeonhole somebody. You know, it's like one day you want to wear something and the next day you're wearing something else, but it doesn't mean you are what you wear, you know?
She liked to give advice on how to be well advised, but left to her own devices, she'd drown in all her vices. You know how well she means, you know life can be mean, and you know life can be mean to the ones born dark in between. She can cross herself with such precision. You know how well she means it, and you know how she can mean, and you know life can be mean to the ones born dark in between. Every bird from this umbilical until my birth. I'm my, 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 my. Hold me now. Ah, my, 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 my. Don't hold me now. Never meant to tease you. Never meant to make you cry. But you know that if I stayed here, I'd surely be the one who would die.
Now, you've been involved in the indie music scene for over 20 years, is that correct?
Yes, I have.
Yes. Describe the indie music scene today versus where it was 20 years ago. Is there wider awareness of indie music today?
There's an inundation of indie music today, I would say, because everybody's making indie records. Even signed artists are making indie records. Like, look at Beyonce. She just, I'm sorry, I uttered the word. But God bless her, she's, even for a signed artist, she went and made an underground indie record that nobody knew about, not even her record label. So even signed artists are making indie records.
Now, you know how well I mean. You know I can't be mean. Try not to expect so much from an adolescent self-esteem.
You know, back 20 years ago, I was in a group called Jamie Strange, and we were winning a lot of advocate polls, best indie group, best independent originals, best live performance, best vocals, and you could play on what is now Pratt Street in Hartford and make $500 in a club, Scarlett O'Hara's, Paulie's, the Muni, and now, tell me one club you can make $500 as an original band in Hartford. That's what's different now, 20 years ago versus, you know, and then I moved to LA 10 years ago and I had to pay to play. You know, I was making $500 here in Hartford and then I moved to LA and I had to pay $500 to play. So it's very interesting, you know, what you think might be a musical hub can also be a drain. So you learn the beauty of where you're at and you try to, you know, if you can't fix it, feature it. So right now, I try not to think about money as success or as the determining factor because independent for me is just the freedom of choice to express yourself. That's really all it means. And if we can turn something that's like a divinity into a commodity, God bless it, because that would be the ultimate independence, you know.
Now, how has the storytelling of your music progressed over time?
I've gotten far more crankier and pissed off. That's all.
Really? Okay, well, yeah, I'm interested. Take me on this journey from your first album up to your current album, Lullabies for Monsters. You know, I mean, do you remember what kinds of things you wrote about back when you were first starting?
Wow, good question again. You know, I don't want to say that I've given up hope because there's always hope. Without hope, where are we? But, you know, it's funny. Torch Songs was the first record I did as a solo artist when I left Jamie Strange, after being in Jamie Strange for 10 years. And those were my brothers too, truthfully. And then, so branching out as an artist, trying to, what is my voice? So the first people I paired up with were Matt Ziner and Ramon Morant, who are still the better known and by far some of the best players on the planet. And here they are in little old Hartford. So we did this indie record in Matt's house, and I called it Torch Songs because I was all fired up. You know, these were sexy songs. They were funky. Ramon, very funky player, very funky writer. We all co-wrote. We all contributed music. Jump ahead 4 records after being in LA, after, you know, taking this vision and thinking, well, I've got to take it to California because that's where music is happening, and getting disillusioned, and then teaming up with Lee Carreri, he played Bruno in the movie Fame back in the 70s. So Lullabies for Monsters, for me, was this idea of I'm no longer a kid, and it's not that I've lost hope, but I'm not as bright-eyed or wide-eyed and dreamy. And it's a lullaby record for adults. That's why the monsters aspect comes in, because we all, even the adults, all the adults I know, including myself, we all still have a monster hiding under the bed. And it takes a very brave kid to shine the light on that. And so adults need lullabies too. We all need to be soothed. And sometimes it's scary to go to bed, you know, even when you're an adult.
Yeah.
And especially if you're alone in this life, you know, facing things as an adult on your own. Whew, we all need some lullabies.
cheat. But let me prove to you that there is truth in what I seek. To be the better man, better man. A better man, better man. A better man, better man. A better man, better man. Show me how. A better man, better man. A better man, better man. I know how. A better man, better man. A better man, better man. Be the better man. Won't you be a better man? 'Cause I know you can. Oh, I know the monster can.
Now, the song Better Man, you mentioned that you produced that in South Africa,
Yes.
right? Please tell me
yes.
about that story. That's interesting.
That was so magical. So before I hooked up with Lee, I'm in LA and I'm working with a wonderful man named Derek Nakamoto, who told me about a group of players. He said, Angela, you know, your sensibility of writing is sort of like Americana rock and roll, but there's a groove factor. It's like a hip hop sort of rhythmicality that I kind of use in my style of sort of melodic singing. So he'd worked with a group of players, Lawrence Machisa, Lucas Sanyatso, Steven, and this man named Jasper Williams in a little place called Lapa Studio. And he said, I've worked with these players and I feel like they would really be able to pull out sort of this rhythmic tribalness that you have in that you can't find in LA, and only the township rhythms can express this because that's in their blood, it's in their culture. It's like you wouldn't mimic a flamenco player like we did on Sweet Justicia. I call in a flamenco singer. So, you know, but the problem was they had been burned by a Western artist in the past. Somebody had come there, and you know, that's the problem with trying to borrow from cultures or be inspired by cultures. Sometimes they feel gentrified or taken from and not respected for what they give. They feel like, oh, you're gonna suck this from us and then take it and forget us. So they were leery to take on a new artist from, quote unquote, LA via Connecticut. And the minute I got there, I said, look, if you guys come up with writing with this, you all get credit. Let's work together as a family. Let's do this because I trust you as much as you're willing to trust me, and I want to open up my songs to your writing sensibility. So that township rhythm comes through with this interesting sort of rock and roll writing with the township African rhythms, and I think this is it right here, Hope Nation. And yet again, there's that word hope. I wanted to call it Hip Hope Nation, but my producer Derek was like, no, because you're going to be pigeonholed as a hip hop artist, and lo and behold, here I am in a hip hop band that I call Hip Hope. But Hope Nation was the product of that joining of, you know, two very distinct musicalities and musical cultures. And I'll never forget Lawrence walking in. You know, these are guys that have played on some of the best African records that there are, South African records. They're signed to Sony, and when I showed up, they're like, what can you do, man? How can you help us? I'm like, you're signed to Sony. How can I help you? So it's so interesting, you know, what you think is success is not necessarily always success.
A better man, show me how. A better man, better man. A better man, come on now. A better man, better man. A better man. Be the better man. Won't you be a better man? 'Cause I know you can. Oh, I know that you can take that chance and take my hand and take a risk and be my better man. Oh yeah, a better man, taste delish. A better, baby. I know that one exists. You got to prove it to me, baby. Like butter, baby.